Okay, I think that we are officially live. Let's see. Yes, apparently we are live. But I don't see. Okay. Yes, apparently we are live. But I don't see. Okay, apparently
Yes,
the sound
apparently.
is good. Apparently the sound is good, guys. Hello guys, my name is Justin Hacker Flexer, and today we are going to continue to working on the JavaScript certification program on freeCodeCamp. Yesterday I did a live on Kick, but we are going to continue with the lives on the freeCodeCamp on YouTube, and that's especially because Kick is gonna it doesn't save the videos from the streaming, you know. I mean, the stream is deleted after 2 weeks. So YouTube, I think it's a better choice. Today we are going to continue with the arrays. So let's start. We have the theory working with arrays, then we have a workshop, then we have 2 labs, then we have another theory, then the review, and then the quiz. So it's not that much. So I think we can start working on this. What are the key characteristics of JavaScript arrays? So an array in JavaScript is an ordered collection of values, each identified by a numeric index. The values in a JavaScript array can be of different data types, including numbers, strings, booleans, objects, and even other arrays. To create an array in JavaScript, you can use square brackets and separate the values with commas. Here is an example. So we have the fruits, and we have apple, banana, and orange. In this example, we declare a variable fruits and assign it an array containing 3 string values, apple, banana, and orange. One of the key characteristics of arrays is that they are zero indexed, meaning that the first element in an array has an index of 0, the second element has an index of 1, and so on. You can access individual elements in an array using their index. For example, we have fruits, apple, banana, and orange. Console log fruits of 0, we're going to get the apple. Fruits of 2, we're going to get the orange. Okay, in this example, we use the index 0 to access the first element apple and the index 2 to access the third element orange. Arrays in JavaScript have a special length property that returns the number of elements in the array. We can access this property using the length property. For example, here if we use fruits.length, we're gonna get 3 because we have 3 elements in the array. Okay, another key characteristic of arrays in JavaScript is that they are dynamic, meaning that their size can change after they are created. You can add or remove elements from an array using various array methods such as push, pop, shift, unshift, splice, and more. These methods will be taught in upcoming lessons. JavaScript arrays are versatile and useful when it comes to data storage inside your programs. Throughout this module, you'll get to see firsthand how working with arrays will help you efficiently manage and manipulate collections of data. Questions. Which of the following is not true about JavaScript arrays? They are zero indexed. They are unordered collection of values. It's not true because they are ordered collection of values. They can contain another array as a value. This is true. They are dynamic and their size can change after they are created. This is also true. What will be the output of the following code? So numbers of 2 is gonna be 0, 1, and 2 is gonna be 3. What will be the output of the following code? So we have red, green, and blue. Colors of length is gonna be 3. Check your answer. Okay, submit and go to the next challenge. Okay, apparently the live is working pretty well. I'm gonna get a little break. Okay, I'm back. Guys. So how do you access and update elements in an array? So in the previous lesson, you were introduced to working with arrays and accessing different elements in an array in arrays. Here is a reminder of how to access the second element in an array. So we have fruits, apple, banana, and cherry, and fruits of 1 is gonna be banana. Since arrays are zero based indexed, The first element will be at index 0, the second element is at index 1, and so on. It's important to know that if you try to access an index that doesn't exist in the array, JavaScript will return undefined. So for example, if we have 3 elements and we try to check fruits of 3, which is going to be out of the index, we're going to get undefined. In this example, there is no element at index 3, right, for the fruits array, so the log will show undefined. Now let's look at how to update elements in an array. You can update an element by assigning a new value to a specific index. So we have apple, banana, and cherry, and we have fruits of 1 is going to be blueberry. And as you can see, the banana was changed with blueberry. So in this example, we replaced banana with blueberry at index 1. This method allows you to change any element in the array as long as you know its index. You can also add new elements to an array by assigning a value to an index that doesn't yet exist. So okay, so even if we don't have the index 3, but we assign something to it, we're gonna have it. Okay, however, exercise caution when doing this. If you assign a value to an index that is much larger than the current length of the array, you'll create undefined elements for the indices in between, which can lead to unexpected behavior. As you continue to work with JavaScript, you'll find that these methods of accessing and updating array elements are fundamental to many programming tasks. Whether you are building a simple to-do list or processing complex data structures, these skills will be invaluable. Okay, questions. If you have an array, let numbers 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, what will numbers of 2 return? So 0, 1, and 2 is going to be 30. What happens if you try to access an array element at an index that doesn't exist? It returns undefined. What is the index number used to represent the first element of an array? 0. Okay, next. We are streaming, guys. How do you add and remove elements from the beginning and end of an array? So arrays in JavaScript are dynamic, which means you can easily add or remove elements from them. There are 4 main methods for adding and removing elements from the beginning and end of an array, which are gonna be push, pop, shift, and unshift. Let's explore each of these methods in detail. So the push method is used to add 1 or more elements to the end of an array. The return value of the push method is the new length of the array. Okay, here's an example of adding a new fruit to the existing fruits array. So we have fruits, we have apple and banana, and if we push the orange, the new length is going to be 3, and the new fruits array is going to be apple, banana, and orange. Okay, in this example we start with an array called fruits, which contains 2 elements. We then use the push method to add the string orange to the end of the array. You might have noticed that we are using const when declaring the fruits array. But why is it possible to add more elements to this fruits array when fruits is a constant? This is a great question. This is possible because declaring an array with the const keyword creates a reference to the array. While the array itself is mutable and can be modified, you cannot reassign a new value to the fruits constant like this. So if we have fruits, apple, banana, and we have fruits, which is going to be this, will not work. Console fruits uncocked type error assignment to constant variable. Okay, so we cannot basically fruits is just a reference to the array, but it's not exactly the array. So we can change the array, but we cannot change the reference. Okay, I understand. The next method we will look at is the pop method. The pop method removes the last element from an array and returns that element. It also modifies the original array. Here is how it works. We have the fruits, apple, banana, and orange. Fruits.pop, we're gonna have apple and banana, and the last fruit, which is gonna be orange. Okay. So in this example, we start with an array of 3 fruits. The pop method removes the last element, orange, from the array and returns it. The original fruits array is modified and contains only 2 elements. Okay. The unshift method adds 1 or more elements to the beginning of an array and returns its new length. It works similarly to push, but modifies the start of the array instead of the end. Here is an example. We have the numbers 2 and 3. Have a new length which is going to be numbers unshift 1. Okay, and the new length is going to be 3. Okay, so basically with the unshift, we basically push, but we push at the beginning, not at the end. Okay, in this example we use unshift to add the number 1 to the beginning of the numbers array. The method returns the new length of the array, which is 3. Okay. Finally, the shift method removes the first element from an array and returns that element. Okay, it's similar to pop, but it works at the beginning of the array instead of the end. Here is how it works. So we have red, green, and blue. Colors.shift. We're gonna have green and blue, and the first color is gonna be red. This example, we start with an array of 3 colors. The shift method removes the first element red from the array and returns it. The original colors array is modified to contain only 2 elements. Okay, note that while push and unshift can add multiple elements at once, pop and shift remove only one element at a time. Okay, so push and unshift can add multiple elements at once, okay, but pop and shift remove only one element at a time. Okay, questions. What will be the output of the following code? So we have array 1, 2, and 3, and we have push 4, so we are gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, unshift 0, so it's gonna be 2, 3, and 4, and we're gonna console log the array. Sorry, unshift. No, we're gonna have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. What will be the output of the following code? So we have array A, B, C, D, shift. So we're gonna remove A. So we're gonna have B, C, D. Last is gonna be array of pop. So we're gonna have B, C. Then we're gonna have first, last, and the array. So we're gonna have A, D, A, D, and B, C. This is the correct option. What will be the result of the following code? So we have ABC, unshift XI, so we're gonna have XI ABC. Pop is gonna be XI AB, and console log array is gonna be XI AB. So XI AB. Okay, check your answer. Nice. Let's go to the next section. Another annoying app from freeCodeCamp. Okay, guys, let's continue. Ask me later. Okay, what is the difference between one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays? So in programming, arrays are fundamental data structures used. Are fundamental data structures. It feels a little bit wrong. So arrays are fundamental data structures. Oh no, it's correct. Arrays are are fundamental data structures, okay, used to store collections of elements. Understanding the difference between one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays is crucial for organizing and manipulating data effectively. Let's explore these concepts in a way that's easy for beginners to grasp. So, a one-dimensional array, often called an array, is like a single row of boxes. Imagine you have a line of storage lockers at a train station. Each locker can hold one item, and you can access any locker directly if you know its number. In programming terms, each item in a one-dimensional array is accessed using a single index. For example, in JavaScript, you might create and use a one-dimensional array like this. So we have the fruits, and we have apple, banana, cherry, and date. And if we check fruits of 2, it's gonna be cherry, okay, because this is the third element. Here, fruits is a one-dimensional array. You can think of it as a single row of fruit names. To access any fruit, you use one number, the index, inside square brackets. Now let's move on to two-dimensional arrays. If a one-dimensional array is like a single row of lockers, a two-dimensional array is like a grid of lockers, multiple rows and columns. In programming, a two-dimensional array is essentially an array of arrays. It's used to represent data that has a natural grid-like structure, such as a chessboard, a spreadsheet, or pixels in an image. To access an element in a two-dimensional array, you need two indices, one for the row and one for the column. Here is an example of how you might create and use a two-dimensional array in JavaScript. So I have the chessboard, and we have this one. Okay, and if we check chessboard of 0, 3, that means the first row, 0, 1, 2, and 3 is gonna be Q. In this example, chessboard is a two-dimensional array representing a chess game's initial setup. To access the queen, in the top row we use the indices 0 and 3. The first index 0 selects the first row, and the second index 3 selects the fourth column in that row. The key difference between one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays lies in how you access and organize the data. One-dimensional arrays use a single index and are suitable for linear data like lists or sequences. Two-dimensional arrays use two indices and are ideal for grid-like data structures. It's worth noting that in JavaScript, two-dimensional arrays are actually arrays of arrays. This means each element of the outer array is itself an array. This nested structure allows for great flexibility but also requires careful handling to avoid errors. As you progress in your programming journey, you'll find that choosing between one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays depends on the nature of your data and how you need to manipulate it. One-dimensional arrays are simpler and sufficient for many tasks, while two-dimensional arrays become invaluable when dealing with more complex structured data. Okay, questions. How many indices do you need to access an element in a two-dimensional array? Just give me a second, guys. Okay, we are back. So, how many indices do you need to access an element in a two-dimensional array? So we need two indices. What kind of data structure is best represented by a one-dimensional array? A list of items. In JavaScript, what is a two-dimensional array essentially? It's an array of arrays. Next. What is array destructuring and how does it work? So, array destructuring is a feature in JavaScript that allows you to extract values from arrays and assign them to variables in a more concise and readable way. It provides a convenient syntax for unpacking array elements into distinct variables. So, this technique is particularly useful when working with arrays and functions that return multiple values. Here is an example of using array destructuring. So we have the fruits, which are going to be apple, banana, and orange. We have first, second, and third fruits. Okay, so basically first is going to be the first element, second is going to be the second element, banana, and third is going to be the third element, which is orange. Okay, In this example, we have an array called fruits with 3 elements. Using array destructuring, we assign the first element to the variable first, the second element to the second, and the third element to third. This allows us to easily access individual elements of the array without using index notation. Here's what it would look like if you accessed each of those elements by their index instead of using array destructuring. So we have the fruits, apple, banana, and orange. First is going to be fruits of 0, second is going to be fruits of 1, and third is going to be fruits of 2. Okay, then we have this one. Array destructuring also allows you to skip elements you're not interested in by using commas. For instance, here we are skipping the second color and we're gonna get red and blue. Okay, in this example we skip the second element of the colors array by using an extra comma. This assigns red to first color and blue to the third color, effectively ignoring green. Right. Another powerful feature of array destructuring is the ability to use default values. If the array has fewer elements than the variables you are trying to assign, you can provide default values. So we have numbers 1 and 2, and we have A, B, C. C is going to be 3 from numbers. Okay, so basically here we assign the C, the value of 3. Okay, here we assign default value 3 to C because the numbers array doesn't have a third element. Okay, now let's discuss the rest syntax, denoted by 3 dots. It allows you to capture the remaining elements of an array that haven't been structured into a new array. Here is how it works. So I have dot rest of fruits. Okay, so we have apple, banana, and then the rest is gonna be the rest of the array. Okay, it's gonna be orange, mango, and kiwi. Okay, in this example, first and second capture the first 2 elements of the fruits array, and rest captures all remaining elements of the new array. The rest syntax must be the last element in the destructuring pattern. Array destructuring is a powerful feature that can make your code more concise and easier to read. It's especially useful when working with arrays and when you need to extract specific elements from an array. Questions. What will be the output of the following code? So we have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So basically we have 1 and 3 is gonna be A and B because we have here a comma, which basically is gonna skip the 2. And then we have the rest, which is gonna be 4 and 5. So we have 1, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, 4 and 5 is gonna be rest. Okay. What will be the output of the following code? We have colors red, green, and blue. Then we have primary, secondary, and tertiary, and quaternary, which is gonna be yellow. From the colors, okay, so we have red, green, and blue. Quaternary is gonna be yellow. Yes. Okay, what will be the output of the following code? I don't think that we are gonna receive an error. No, it's gonna be yellow. What will be the output of the following codes? We have fruits, apple, banana, orange, and grape. We have first, which is gonna be apple. Then we have the rest, which is gonna be everything banana, orange, and grape. And then the last is gonna be undefined. Right. So check your answer. This is incorrect. Okay, but fortunately... Okay, so only this is incorrect, but why? This will throw a syntax error. I don't know, maybe. Because the first is gonna be apple, and the rest is gonna be banana, orange, and grape. And maybe the last is gonna be a syntax error. Maybe yes. Yes, so basically we're gonna get a syntax error. Okay, let's submit and go to the next challenge, please. Okay, how can you use string and array methods to reverse a string? So reversing a string is a common programming task that can be accomplished in JavaScript using a combination of string and array methods. The process involves 3 main steps. We have splitting the string into an array of characters, reversing the array, joining the characters back into a string. Just give me a second. Give me a second, guys. Okay guys, let's continue. So, how can you use string and array methods to reverse a string? So reversing a string is a common programming task that can be accomplished in JavaScript using a combination of string and array methods. The process involves three main steps. So we have splitting the string into an array of characters, reversing the array, joining the characters back into a string. Okay, let's explore each of these steps using the split, reverse, and join methods. So the first step in reversing a string is to convert it into an array of individual characters. We can do this using the split method. The split method divides a string into an array, okay, of substrings and specifies where each split should happen based on a given separator. If no separator is provided, the method returns an array containing the original string as a single element. Examples of common separators include an empty string, which is this one, which splits the string into individual characters, a single space, which splits the string wherever spaces occur, a dash, which splits the string at each dash. Here's an example using the split method to create an array of characters. So I have string hello and have char array string of split for empty string, and basically we are gonna have an array with each where each position is a single character. Okay, char array. Okay, in this example we use split an empty string with an empty string as the argument to convert the string hello into an array of its individual characters. Once we have an array of characters, we can use the reverse method to reverse the order of elements in the array. Okay, the reverse method is an array method that reverses the elements of an array in place. This means it modifies the original array rather than creating a new one. Here's how we can use it. So we have char array, which is going to be hello, and then we reverse it. Okay, it's going to be this array reversed. In this example, reverse changes the order of the elements in char array, reversing it from this one to this one. The final step is to convert the reversed array of characters back into a string. We can accomplish this using the join method. The join method creates and returns a new string by concatenating all the elements in an array, separated by a specified separator string. If you want to join the characters without any separator, you can use an empty string as the argument. Here is an example. So we have reversed array, which is going to be this one. Here we have the reverse string, which is going to be reversed array, dot join by an empty string, which is going to be this one. Okay. In this example, join empty string with an empty string passed to it as an argument combines all the characters in the array into a single string without any separator between them. Okay, remember that strings in JavaScript are immutable, which means you can directly reverse a string by modifying it. So you can directly reverse a string by modifying it. Okay, that's why we need to convert it to an array, reverse the array, and then convert it back to a string. Okay, so this combination of string and array methods provides a powerful and flexible way to manipulate strings in JavaScript. So, questions: what will be the output of the following code? So we have coding, and then we have reversed string dot split by empty string, reverse, then join again. So it's gonna be GNIDOC. Okay, but no, this is gonna be a string. So GNIDOC. Okay. What will be the result of the hello.split empty string? It's gonna be this one. What will be the output of the following code? Word hello, word split by an empty string. Then we're gonna join by a dash, so it's gonna be this one. Okay. Check your answer, and we are 100% complete with the theory, guys. Nice. It was a nice theory. Then we have a workshop, then 2 labs. So just give me a second, guys. Give me just a second. Okay guys, I'm back. I am freaking back. Let's build a shopping list. So step 1. In this workshop, you'll continue to learn about arrays by building a grocery shopping list. Start by adding a console log that logs the string grocery shopping list. Okay, so console.log this one, grocery shopping list. Next, step 2. For this shopping list, you'll use an array to represent the items you need to buy. In previous lessons, you learned how to create arrays like this. So example code, fruits, apple, banana, and orange. In this step, create a variable called shopping list and assign it to an empty array. So let variable shopping list and assign it to an empty array. Next, for this next portion of the workshop, you will practice adding food items to the grocery list. So start by using the console log to log the message. It will be nice to have some fruit to eat. So it will be nice to have some fruit to eat, okay? Previous lessons, you learned how to add items to the end of an array using the push method like this. So fruits.push peer. Using the push method, add the string apples to the shopping list array. So, shopping list dot push apples. Step 5. You see the updated shopping list. You will need to log the current shopping list and a short message to the console. Since this message will be used repeatedly throughout the workshop, it is best to create a reusable function. Create a function called getShoppingList_msj that takes an array as a parameter and returns the string current shopping list, followed by the contents of the provided array. You can use template literals or string concatenation with the plus operator to combine the string with the array passed to the function. Okay, then I truly understand. So to see the updated shopping list, you'll need to log the current shopping list and a short message to the console. Okay, since this message will be used repeatedly throughout the workshop, it is best to create a reusable function. Okay, so you need to create a function called getShoppingListMsj. So function getShoppingListMsj, and here that takes an array as a parameter and returns the string. So we're gonna have an array as a parameter and returns the string current shopping list. So we need to return the string, so return current shopping list plus, followed by the contents of the provided array. So plus the array. So you can use the template literal source string concatenation with the plus operator to combine the string with the array passed to the function. Okay, next. Step 6. Now it is time to see the message log to the console. So add a console log and call getShoppingListMsj function the shopping list array as an argument inside the console log to see the message log to the console. So we are gonna use console log getShoppingListMsj. We're gonna use the shopping list as the provided array. Okay. Step 7. Now it is time to add another fruit to the list. Using the same array method as earlier, add the string grapes to the end of the shopping list array. So, shopping list, push grapes. Then add a console log that and call the getShoppingListMsj function with the shopping list array as an argument inside the console log to see the updated list log to the console. So, console log and call the getShoppingListMsj with the shopping list as the argument. I can see apples and grapes. Nice. Okay, give me a second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Step 8. Now it's time to start adding items to the top of the grocery list. So start by adding the console log that logs the message. It looks like we need to get some cooking oil. Okay, so console log, console.log, this one. Next. Step 9. In previous lessons you learned how to add elements to the beginning of an array using the unshift method. It is a reminder of how to use the unshift method. So we have example code, array unshift item 1, item 2, item x. Use the unshift method to add the string vegetable oil to the beginning of the shopping list. Okay, so we're gonna write shopping list dot unshift. Then we're gonna add vegetable oil to shopping list array. Okay. Step 10. Next, add the console log and call the get shopping list msj function with the shopping list array as an argument inside console log to see the updated list log to the console. So we're gonna have c console log get shopping list msj with the shopping list as the argument. Next, step 11. In earlier steps, you reviewed how to add an item to the end of the array using the push method. But the push method accepts multiple arguments, so you can add multiple items to the end of the array like this. So we have item 1, item 2, and item 3. In this step, use the push method to add the strings, popcorn, beef jerky, potato chips, to shopping list array. So shopping list dot push, then we're gonna push all of these items. Next, step 12. Now it's time to log the updated shopping list array to the console. Okay, so we can just copy paste this part. Step 13. For this next portion of the workshop, you will review how to remove items from the end of the array. So start by adding the console log that logs the message. This looks like too much junk food. Console log. This looks like too much junk food. Step 14. In previous lessons, you learned how to remove items from the end of an array using the pop method. Here is a reminder of how to use the pop method. So we have array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pop, we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then use the pop method to remove the last item from the shopping list array. So shopping list dot pop. Okay, next. Step 15. Now it is time to get the updated shopping list array to the console. So we're just gonna copy paste this part here. Nice. Step 16. Now it is time to add more items to the beginning of the grocery list. Start by adding the console log statement that logs the message. It might be nice to get a dessert. So console.log, might be nice to get a dessert. Okay, below the console statement, use the correct array method to add the string chocolate cake to the beginning of the shopping list. Okay, so we need to write shopping list dot unshift. Then we need to add chocolate cake to the beginning. Okay. Finally, add the console log and call the get shopping list msj function with the shopping list array as an argument inside console log. So just copy this part again. Okay, nice. Step 17. In this last part of the workshop, you will review how to remove an item from the beginning of an array. Start by adding a console log that logs the message. On second thought, maybe we should be more health conscious. Okay, so console log, this one. Another annoying app from freeCodeCamp, as always. So guys, we're live for 40 minutes, as always. So guys, we're live for 40 minutes. Okay. Okay. Ask me later. Step 18. In previous lessons, you learned how to remove an item from the beginning of the array using the shift method. Here's a reminder of how to use the shift method. So we have constant array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, shift we're gonna have 2, 3, 4, 5. So use the shift method to remove the first item from the shopping list. So shopping list dot shift Next, step 19. The last change to make to the grocery list is to update the first item in the list. Previous lessons you learned how to update an item using the bracket notation and the index of the item you want to update. Here's a reminder of how to update an item in an array. I did the first item in the shopping list array to be the canola oil. So shopping list of 0 is gonna become canola oil right here. Step 20. In this final step of the workshop, log the final grocery list to the console. Okay, so just copy this part here. Nice. Okay, we did the workshop, guys. We have still 2 labs. Then we have more theory, then a review, then the quiz. Just give me a second. Okay, guys, let's continue with the lab. So build a lunch picker program. In this lab, you'll build a program that helps in managing lunch options. You'll work with an array of lunches, add and remove items from the array, and randomly select the lunch option. Objective: fulfill the user stories below to get all the tests to pass to complete the lab. So user stories, you should create a lunches variable and assign it an empty array that will be used to store lunch items. So we need a lunches empty array that will be used to store lunch items. You should create a function add lunch to end. So function add lunch to end that takes an array as the first argument. So array is the first argument and a string as the second argument. The function should add a string to the end of the array. So add a string to the end of the array. So lunches. No, sorry. So array dot push str. Add a string to the end of the array. Log the string lunch item. Add it to the end of the lunch menu. So we should log console.log lunch item, which is the str, plus add to the end of the lunch menu. The console where the lunch item is the string passed to the function, return the updated array. So we should return the array. Okay. You should create a function called add lunch to start. add lunch to start that takes an array as the first argument and a string as the second argument to the function should. So array and the str. And the function should add a string to the start of the array, so array dot shift. It's shift or it's unshift? Oh my god. I think it was unshift. Yes, I think it's unshift in order to push. Unshift. str. Okay. So add a string to the start of the array. Log the string lunch item added to the start of the lunch menu. So this one. Console log str plus this one. Okay. Then return the updated array. So return the array like this. You should create a function remove last lunch that takes an array as its argument. The function should. So a new function remove last lunch that takes an array as its argument. Array. The function should remove the last element from the array. So remove the last element from the array. So array.pop. Okay, the removal, if the removal is successful, log the string lunch item removed from the end of the lunch menu. The console where lunch item is the element from the array. If the array is empty, log the string no lunches to remove to the console. Okay, this is an interesting thing. So let's test this thing a little bit. So if I do lunches dot pop, I'll get something. I'll get an error or something. Console log t. Okay, but if I console log lunches dot pop, undefined. Okay, so they write here. Oh, and another thing, if I write lunches dot unshift the string t and the console log lunches. Okay, I see the t. Okay, so I write the correct method. Okay, for the second function. Okay, but here basically I have to check first if the array of length is gonna be 0, so basically I don't have any elements in the lunches array, or not in the lunches, in the given argument, right? So if the array is empty, log the string no lunches to remove. This is what I should log to console. So console log no lunches to remove. Return updated array. This is only if the array of length is different than 0. So here I can write return. Otherwise I'm going to write array.pop, but I need to get the removed item. So let removed item or removed lunch, for example, is gonna be array of pop. Then I'm going to console log what? This one. I'm going to console log this one. So lunch item, instead of lunch item, I'm going to have removed lunch plus this part removed from the end of the lunch menu. Okay, then what? I'm going to return the updated array. So I'm going to return the array, but I also think I'm going to return the array here. Okay, so I think it should be nice, should be okay. Okay, so this is the add lunch to start, remove last lunch, remove first lunch. So you should create a function remove first lunch that takes an array as its argument. The function should remove the first element from the array. If the removal is successful, log the string lunch item removed from the start of the lunch menu. Okay, it's pretty much the same thing. Pretty much. So the single thing is that we have different names. Remove first lunch with the array, and if this is 0, no lunches to remove. Otherwise, remove lunch, which is gonna be shift, so it's gonna be pop, and then we have a different text here, so remove from the start of the lunch menu. Okay, sixth, you should create a function get random lunch that takes an array as its argument. The function should select a random element from the array. If successful, log the string randomly selected lunch item to the console where lunch item is a random element in the array. If the array is empty, log the string no lunch is available to the console. Okay, this is an interesting one. So we need a function get random lunch, and I need the array takes an array as its argument, right? Then here the function should select a random element from the array. If successful, log the string randomly selected lunch item to the console where lunch item is a random element in the array. If the array is empty, log the string no lunch is available to console. Okay, so if the array length is gonna be 0, we're just gonna console log no lunch is available. No lunch is available. Okay, otherwise we need to get a random lunch, and for this we need to generate a random index. So let's ask Gemini how to generate a random number between 0 and 100 in JavaScript, question mark. Okay, so to generate a random number between 0 and 100 in JavaScript, you have two main options depending on whether you want a decimal, floating point, or a whole number integer. So so this is gonna be math floor of math random times 101. This is for the whole number. Okay. So we're gonna have math floor of math random times 101. Okay, then we're gonna get a random number. Okay, I remember that math.random, I think it generated the number between 0 and 1, a random number between 0 and 1. Then we'll multiply by 100 plus 1 because we want 100 inclusive. Okay, then we get the floor of this. Okay, so random index. Let's get a random index, which is gonna be math floor, math.floor of math.random, which is a random number between 0 and 100, 0 and 1. Then we're gonna multiply by what? By the array of length. Okay. And then what? Then we are gonna log the string, you know? Yes. So we're gonna write console.log randomly selected lunch here. Randomly selected lunch plus what? Plus the array at random index. Random index. Okay. So I think it should work. I think yes. You should create a function show lunch menu that takes an array as its argument. If there are elements in the array, logs the string menu items, lunch item, the console where each lunch item is one of the elements in the array in order. Okay, if the array is empty, logs the string the menu is empty to the console. Okay, so we need a new function show lunch menu. So function show lunch menu. Here we have the array, and if the array of length is gonna be 0, then we are going to console log to the screen the menu is empty. We're gonna console log the menu is empty here. Okay, otherwise we need to write that string menu items with lunch item. Okay, I think I'm going to have a result which is gonna be an empty string. So we're gonna have an else And also I should have an else here. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have an else here, and also should have an else. No, here is not required, but here it was required because I didn't have the return statement on the first if. Right, so here I have this, the menu is empty, then I have an else, and here I need a result, so let result, which is gonna be what? Menu items, okay. Then for each item in array, response plus equal item plus a comma, but I need a comma. Yes, I need a comma. I need a comma, but I need a comma only for the items. No. Let's have a for. Let's have a let I from 0. I is gonna be lower than the array of length. Then I is gonna be incremented by 1. And if the I is gonna be greater than 0, then in this case I'm going to add a comma. I'm gonna add a comma here. Otherwise, otherwise, just in other cases, I'm gonna add the exact item. Not the exact item, the array of I to the response. Okay. This is how it should work. So after this, I think I can just console the response. So just console.log the res. So if the array is empty, logs the string, the menu is empty to the console. Okay, let's test. So show launch menu, greens, corns, and beans should log menu items, greens, corns, and beans to the console. Okay, that means it doesn't work as expected. So maybe I did some, yes, it's something wrong because I need comma separated by a space. Okay, now it's perfect. Now it's perfect, guys. Now it's freaking perfect. Okay, this was the first lab. We have another lab. Then I have more theory. Then I have some review, and then I have a quiz. So let's go to the build a golf score translator and just give me a little break. Okay, we are back. Build a goal score translator. So, here, in the game of golf, each hole has a par, meaning the average number of strokes a golfer is expected to make in order to sink the ball in the hole to complete the play. Depending on how far above or below par your strokes are, there is a different nickname. In this tab, you will write a function that converts the par and strokes to their nickname. Okay, objective: fulfill the user stories below to get all the tests to pass the complete the lab. So user stories should create a function named golf score. So we're gonna have a function named golf score. Golf score should take two numeric arguments, which are the par for the course and the amount of strokes made. So par and strokes. This is not function, this is function. Okay. Then golf score should return a string. Okay. Golf score should return hole in one if strokes is 1. So if the strokes is gonna be equal to 1, I'm just gonna return what? Hole in one. Okay. Golf score should return eagle if strokes is less than or equal to par minus 2. So if strokes is gonna be equal with par minus 2, I'm just gonna return eagle. Okay. Golf score should return birdie if strokes is equal to par minus 1. So if strokes is gonna be equal with par minus 1, we're just gonna return birdie. Okay, next, if should return par if strokes is equal to par. So if the strokes are gonna be equal with the par, just gonna return par. Okay, if golf score should return bogey if strokes is equal to par plus 1. So if strokes is gonna be equal with par plus 1, in the parentheses here and also here, I'm just gonna return bogey. We could I could have been using a switch statement, but it's okay. I mean, we're beginners, you know, we are just using if statements, it's not a problem. So if the strokes is gonna be par plus 2, we are gonna use double bogey. So if strokes are gonna be equal to par plus 2, we're just gonna return what? Double bogey. I don't know what bogey means, but I don't really care. Otherwise, I should return go home. Okay, strokes is gonna be greater than or equal to par plus 3. Okay, so just return go home with exclamation point here. Okay. Golf score 5-2 should return the string eagle. Okay, what I did wrong? So eagle. So for eagle, strokes is less than or equal. Oh, so it's less than or equal to. Okay, so if it's lower than or equal to par minus 2, it should return eagle. Okay. So we'll submit and continue. This was not a hard lab, honestly. So we're gonna continue to theory. So we're working with common array methods. Let's see. So how do you get the index for an element in an array using the index of method? So in JavaScript, the index of method is useful for finding the first index of a specific element within the array, within an array. If the element cannot be found, then it will return -1. Here is the basic syntax. So we have array index of element from index. Element represents the value you want to search for within the array, and the from index parameter is the position from which the search should start. Okay. So the from index parameter is optional. If from index is not provided, the search starts from the beginning of the array. Let's look at an example. So we have fruits, apple, banana, orange, and banana. Then we have the index fruits, index of banana. So we're gonna have the index which is gonna be 1. So this is the first time. This is the first index when we found the search pattern. When we found the pattern basically in the array, right? In this example, we have an array fruits containing various fruit names. We use the index of method to find the index of the string banana within the fruits array. Since banana is present at index 1, the method returns 1, which is stored in the index variable and logged to the console. If the element you are searching for is not found in the array, index of returns -1. For example, we have fruits, apple, banana, and orange, and we have index of grape. It's gonna be -1 because we don't find grape in the fruits array. Okay. Here we search for the string grape in the fruits array using the index of. Since grape is not present in the array, the method returns -1, which is stored in the index variable and logged to the console. If you want to start looking for an item after a specific index number, then you can pass a second argument like this, like in this example. So I have colors red, green, blue, yellow, and green, colors index of green and 3. Then I have the index which is gonna be 4. Alright. Right, so basically, because we started from 3, we skip the first green and we go to the 4th index. I understand. In this example, the search doesn't start from the start of an array, rather it starts from the index number 3, which is yellow, and gets the output of 4. Okay, questions. What will be the output of the following codes? We have numbers 10, 20, 30, 40. 10, 20, 30, 20, 40. And we have index of 20, which is going to be 1. Okay, because we are going to stop at the first index when we find the value of 20. Okay, what will be the output of the following codes? We have fruits, apple, banana, orange, and grape. Index of kiwi is going to be -1. What will be the output of the following code? Red, green, blue, yellow, green. Index of green, 2 is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's going to be a 4. Check your answer. Nice. Next, how do you add and remove elements from the middle of an array? So add and remove elements from the middle of an array. So the splice method in JavaScript is a powerful way for modifying arrays. It allows you to add or remove elements from any position in an array, including the middle. Okay, the return value for the splice method will be an array of the items removed from the array. If nothing was removed, then an empty array will be returned. Okay, I didn't understand, so let's read it again. Honestly, I didn't understand, guys. Oh my god, just give me a break. Okay, I'm back. So how do you add and remove elements from the middle of an array? So we care about the middle. So the splice method in JavaScript is a powerful way for modifying arrays. It allows you to add or remove elements from any position in an array, including the middle. The return value for the splice method will be an array of the items removed from the array. If nothing was removed, then an empty array will be returned. Okay, so it is important to know that this method will mutate the original array, modifying it in place rather than creating a new array. This is something to be aware of when working with splice. Here is the basic syntax. So we have array.splice start index, items to remove, item 1, item 2. So starting the index specifies the index at which to begin modifying the array, while items to remove is an optional parameter indicating how many elements to remove. If items to remove is omitted, okay, splice will remove all elements from start index to the end of the array. The subsequent parameters item 1, item 2, and so on are the elements to be added to the array beginning at the start index. Okay, I don't really understand, so let's read it again. So we have this is the basic syntax, right? So we have array.splice start index, items to remove, item 1, item 2. So start index specifies the index at which to begin modifying the array, while items to remove is an optional parameter. Okay, so it's an optional parameter, it's not mandatory, indicating how many elements to remove. Okay, so it indicates how many elements to remove. If items to remove is omitted, splice will remove all elements from start index to the end of the array. Okay. The subsequent parameters item 1 and item 2 and so on are the elements to be added to the array beginning at the start index. Okay, so these are elements to be added at the end. Okay, so let's start with an example removing elements from the middle of an array. So we have the fruits apple, banana, orange, mango, kiwi, fruits, spice, two. So the fruits is gonna be apple, banana, and kiwi. Okay, apple, banana, and kiwi. Why? Because we start at the index 2 to remove, and we remove two elements, which are gonna be orange and mango. Okay, then we have the removed, which is gonna be orange and mango. Okay, I understand. In this example, splice 2 of 2 starts at index 2 and removes two elements. The modified array will now consist of only apple, banana, and kiwi. Now, let's look at how to add elements to the middle of an array. So we have colors red, green, and blue. Colors of splice 1, 0, yellow, purple. So we start at 1. We don't remove anything. But we add from the 1, we add yellow and purple. Okay, then we are gonna have green and blue. Here splice 1 and 0 yellow purple starts at index 1, removes 0 elements, and it starts yellow and purple. The second parameter 0 means no elements are removed. Before insertion, you can also use splice to simultaneously remove and add elements. So we have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Number splice 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. So we start at 1. We remove two elements, which are gonna be 2 and 3. Then we add 6, 7, and 8. Okay, then we're gonna have 4 and 5. Okay. In this case, splice 1, 2, 6, 7, 8 starts at index 1, removes two elements, 2 and 3, and inserts 6, 7, and 8. If you need to keep the original array unchanged, you should create a copy before using splice. Okay, original 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, copy. We're just going to copy the original, copy the splice 2, 1, and 6. So this is an interesting thing. So in the copy, we're gonna remove from the index 2, which is 3. We're gonna remove the 3, and we're gonna add a 6. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 6, then 4 and 5. Okay. In this example, to create a copy of the original array without modifying it, we use the spread operator. The spread operator will create a shallow copy of the elements of the original array into a new array. You learn more about this in future lessons. When we use copy.splice 2, 1, and 6, it modifies the copy array by removing the element at index 2, which is 3, and inserting the new element 6 at that position. One common use case for splice is to remove a single element from an array when you know its index. Okay, so we have apple, banana, orange, and mango. Then we get the index of orange, which is gonna be 2. Index to remove is different than -1, right? Then we're gonna write fruits.splice index to remove, which is gonna be 2, then 1. Okay, so we basically we are removing an element based on its index. Okay, I understand. So in this example, we first use the index of method to find the index of the element orange in the fruits array. The index of method returns the index of the first occurrence of the given element, or -1 if the element is not found in the array. We then compare index to remove with -1 to ensure that the element exists in the array before attempting to remove it. If index to remove is not equal to -1, meaning the element is found, we use splice to remove one element starting from the index to remove position. Right. You can also use splice to clear an array by removing all elements. So splice of 0 is going to remove everything. While splice is powerful, it's worth noting that for very large arrays, it can be less efficient than other methods, especially when modifying the beginning of the array. This is because splice may need to shift all subsequent elements. In such cases, you are only adding or removing elements at the end of the array. Methods like push, pop, and shift might be more appropriate. Okay. In conclusion, the splice method is a versatile way for modifying arrays in JavaScript. It allows for precise control over adding and removing elements from any position in an array. Understanding how to use splice effectively can greatly enhance your ability to manipulate arrays in your JavaScript code. Okay, questions. What will be the output of the following code? So we have array 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and this place is going to be 2, 0, 6, 7. So we're going to start at index 2, which is going to be 0, 1, 2, so it's 3. We're going to remove nothing, so it's 0. But we're going to add 6, 7, so we're going to have 1, 2, 6, then 3, right? I think so. So it's going to be the first option, 1, 2, 6, 7, right? Because we have 6, 7, then 3, 4, 5. Okay. Which of the following splice calls will remove the number 3 from the array? It's 0, 1, 2. This one, the third option. What does the splice method return? The modified array, the number of elements removed, and array containing the removed elements. The modified array. Now is an array containing the removed elements. Oh, this is the correct option, right? Okay, next. Submit and go to the next challenge. Here. How can you check if an array contains a certain value? So in JavaScript, the includes method is a simple and efficient way to check if an array contains a specific value. This method returns a boolean value true if the array contains the specified element and false otherwise. The includes method is particularly useful when you need to quickly verify the presence of an element in an array without needing to know its exact position. Let's start with an example of how to use the includes method. So fruits, apple, banana, orange, and mango. Includes banana is going to be true. Includes grape is going to be false. Okay. In this example, we have an array of fruits. We use the includes method to check if banana is in the array. It returns true because banana is indeed present. We then check for grape, which returns false because it's not in the array. The includes method is case sensitive when dealing with strings. This means that banana with a capital B and banana with lower b, with all lowercase letters, are considered different values. Okay, guys, I'm back. Okay, so they told me that about case sensitive, so the includes method is case sensitive when dealing with strings. This means that banana with capital B and banana with all lowercase letters are considered different values. Here is an example of that illustrates this. Okay, so we found banana with lowercase, but we don't found banana with capital B for the includes method. I understand. So in this case, banana only lowercase is found in the array, but banana with the first letter capitalized is not. So the second includes call returns false. The includes method can also accept an optional second parameter that specifies the position in the array to start the search. This is useful if you want to check for an element's presence in a specific part of the array. Here is how you can use this feature. So we have numbers 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 30, 60. includes 30 and 3, which is going to be true. Okay, so it's basically like the splice, you know? Yes, I understand. But then we have 30 or 4, and we still found it. Okay. For the first console log, we are looking for the number 30 starting at index 3. In this case, there is a number 30 that appears after index 3, so the includes method returns true. The same is true for the second console log. We are looking for the number 30 starting at index 4. Since the number 30 doesn't appear after that index, then it will return true. Okay. It's worth noting that includes uses a strict equality comparison, triple equal, which means it can distinguish between different types. For example, if we have a string and we search for a number, it's going to be falsy, but if we have a string and we search with a string, it's going to be truthy. Okay. So in this case, the number 2 and the string 2 are considered different data types. So the first console log will return falsy, while the second console log will return truthy. The includes method is a powerful tool for checking the presence of elements in arrays. It's simple to use, efficient, and can save you from writing more complex loops or conditions to search through arrays. Whether you are working with strings, numbers, or mixed data types, includes provides a straightforward way to verify if a value exists in your array. Questions: what will be the output of the following codes? We have array 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Includes 3 and 3, so 0, 1, and 2. This is gonna be falsy, 100%. What will be the output of the following code? A, B, C, D, A. Includes capital C, falsy, 100%. What will be the output of the following code? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Includes 3, falsy. Check your answer. Okay, submit and go to the next challenge. What's the shallow copy of an array and what are some ways to create these copies? A shallow copy of an array is a new array that has the same items as the original. If the array only contains primitive values like numbers or strings, the new array is completely separate. But if the array contains other arrays inside it, both the original and the copy have references to the same inner arrays. Okay, this means that if you change something inside the shared inner array, you'll see that change in both arrays. Okay, shallow copies are helpful when you need to modify the top level structure, such as adding, removing, or reordering elements without modifying the original array or the inner array. Okay, there are several methods for creating shallow copies of arrays, and we'll explore some of the most common ones: concat, slice, and the spread operator. Let's start with the concat method. This method creates a new array by merging two or more arrays. When used with a single array, it effectively creates a shallow copy. Here is an example. So we have original array 1, 2, and 3. Then we have copy array, which is going to be an empty string dot concat original array. Okay, then we have the copy array, which is going to be 1, 2, 3. Okay, then we have copy array, triple equal to original array is going to be a falsy because they have different references. This way it's falsy. So in this case, we are using the concat method to concatenate an empty array to the original array. So this will create a new array that is a shallow copy of the original array. The copy array contains the same elements as original array, but it is a different array object, which is why the strict equality check triple equal returns falsy. Okay. Another method to create a shallow copy is the slice method. When called without arguments, slice returns a shallow copy of the entire array. Here is how it works. So if we don't use any arguments, it's just gonna copy the entire array, but with a different reference. So in this case, original array.slice creates a new array that is a shallow copy of the original array. Again, the copy array contains the same elements, but it is a different array object. The spread operator, introduced in AS6, provides another concise way to create shallow copies of arrays. Here is an example. This is the easiest option. If we check the references, it's gonna give us false. The spread operator triple dots spreads the elements of original array into a new array, effectively creating a shallow copy. It's important to know that all these methods create new array objects, which means you can modify the copy without affecting the original array. For example, we have 1, 2, 3, and if we push a 4 in the copy array, we're not going to see the same change in the original array, right? Because they have two different references. So in this example, adding an element to copy array doesn't affect the original array. In summary, our shallow copies of arrays can be easily created using methods like onCat, slice, or the spread operator. These methods are useful for creating new arrays that can be manipulated independently of the original array questions. What will be the output of the following code? So we have constant array 1, 1, 2, 3. In the array 2, you just create a shallow copy, then you push forward. So the first array is going to be 1, 2, 3. The second one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. What will be the output of the following code? So we have fruits, apple, banana, orange. Fruits copy is going to be apple, banana, orange. Then fruits copy is going to be 3. Okay, because we didn't add or remove anything. What will be the output of the following code? So we have array 1, which is going to be 1, 2, 3. Array 2 is going to be also 1, 2, 3, but the references are going to be different, so it's going to be a false value. Nice, check your answer. 100% complete. As the mechanic in GTA 5 said, 100% guarantee. Okay, we just need to do the review, and then the quiz. We're gonna make it. Because I'm an island boy, and I'm trying to make it. This is why. Okay, let's read the review. What's the outline? Oh, okay, it's basically the chapters. So, JavaScript arrays review. JavaScript array basics definition, and JavaScript array is an ordered collection of values, each identified by a numeric index. The values in a JavaScript array can be of different data types, including numbers, strings, booleans, objects, and even other arrays. Arrays are contiguous in memory, which means that all elements are stored in a single continuous block of memory locations, allowing for efficient indexing and fast access to elements by their index. So we have developers, Jessica, Naomi, Tom. Wait a second. Accessing elements from arrays. So to access elements from an array, you'll need to reference the array followed by its index number inside square brackets. JavaScript arrays are zero-based indexed, which means the first element is at index 0, the second element is at index 1, etc. If you try to access an index that doesn't exist for the array, then JavaScript will return undefined. So we have developers Jessica, Naomi, Tom. Of 0 is going to be Jessica, of 1 is going to be Naomi, and developers of 10 is going to be undefined. Length property. This property is used to return the number of items in an array. So for example, developers of length is going to be 3, updating elements in an array. So to update an element in an array, use the assignment operator equal to assign a new value to the element to add a specific index. So I have apple, banana, cherry, fruits of 1 is going to be blueberry, so banana is going to be changed with blueberry. Two-dimensional arrays, definition. A two-dimensional array is essentially an array of arrays. It's used to represent data that has a natural grid-like structure, such as a chessboard, a spreadsheet, or pixels in an image. To access an element in a two-dimensional array, you need two indices, one for the row and one for the column. So we have the chessboard, and we need two indices 0 and 3, which is going to be the first queen. On the board, array destructuring. Definition: array destructuring is a feature in JavaScript that allows you to extract values from arrays and assign them to variables in a more concise and readable way. It provides a convenient syntax for unpacking array elements into distinct variables. So I have fruits, apple, banana, orange. First, second, and third from fruits is going to be apple, banana, and orange. REST syntax: this allows you to capture the remaining elements of an array that haven't been structured into a new array. Fruits: apple, banana, orange, mango, kiwi. First, second, and rest. Apple, banana, then we have orange, mango, kiwi. Okay. Okay, common array methods. Push method. This method is used to add elements to the end of the array and will return the new length. So we have cake, cookies, and pie. Desserts.push, ice cream. Desserts, cake, cookies, pie. Then the ice cream. Okay. Pop method. This method is used to remove the last element from an array and return that removed element. If the array is empty, then the return value will be undefined. Desserts, cake, cookies, and pie. Desserts.pop. Console log desserts is gonna be cake and cookies. Shift method. This method is used to remove the first element from an array and return that removed element. If the array is empty, then the return value will be undefined. So we have desserts, cake, cookies, and pie. Desserts.shift is going to remove the cake. So when console log the desserts is going to be only cookies and pie. Unshift method. This method is used to add elements at the beginning of the array and will return the new length. Desserts, cake, cookies, and pie. And we unshift the ice cream, which is going to add ice cream at the beginning of the array. Index of method. This method is useful for finding the first index of a specific element within an array. If the element cannot be found, then it will return -1. So we have apple, banana, orange, banana. Index fruits of index of banana is going to be 1 because this is the first time when the banana is found, and not found is going to be -1. A splice method. This method is used to add or remove elements from any position in an array. The return value for the splice method will be an array of the items removed from the array. If nothing is removed, then an empty array will be returned. This method will mutate the original array, modifying it in place rather than creating a new array. The first argument specifies the index at which to begin modifying the array. The second argument is the number of elements you wish to remove. The following arguments are the elements you wish to add. So we have colors red, green, and blue. Colors splice 1, 0, yellow, purple. So so we're gonna have the colors, and from the index 1, which is green, we're gonna add yellow, purple, then we're gonna have green and blue. Includes method. This method is used to check if an array contains a specific value. This method returns true if the array contains the specified element and false otherwise. So we have programming languages, JavaScript, Python, C++. Includes Python true, includes part false. Concat method. This method creates a new array by merging two or more arrays. So we have programming languages concat Perl is gonna add Perl to the end. Slice method. This method returns a new array containing a shallow copy of a portion of the original array specified by start and end indices. The new array contains references to the same elements as the original array, not duplicates. This means that if the elements are primitives like numbers or strings, the values are copied. But if the elements are objects or arrays, the references are copied and not the objects themselves. So we have programming languages, JavaScript, Python, C++. So programming languages slice 1 is going to be Python and C++. Spread syntax. The spread syntax is used to create shallow copies of an array. Original array 1, 2, 3. Shallow copied array is going to be, of the original copy is going to be also 1, 2, 3, but it's going to have a different reference. And if we push a value to the shallow copy, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Split method. This method divides a string into an array of substrings and specifies where each split should happen based on a given separator. If no separator is provided, the method returns an array containing the original string as a single element. So we have str of hello, char array str to split with an empty string, and we have the char array as this one. Reverse method. This method reverses an array in place. So we have pie, cookies, and cake. Okay. Join method. This method concatenates all the elements of an array into a single string, with each element separated by a specified separator. If no separator is provided or an empty string is used, the elements will be joined without any separator. Right. Review the JavaScript arrays, topics, and concepts. Submit. Submit and go to the next challenge. JavaScript array quiz. Okay, just give me a second. JavaScript arrays quiz. To pass the quiz, you must correctly answer at least 18 of the 20 questions below. What will be the output of the following codes? So numbers 1, 2, 3, constant numbers of 10. It's gonna be undefined, of course. Which of the following is the correct way to access the string Jessica from the developer's array? 0. 100%. What value will be assigned to the index variable? 10, 20, 30, 40. Index of 20 is gonna be 1. Okay. What does the rest syntax do? It is used to add elements to the end of the array and will return the new line. No. It is used to add or remove. No. It captures the remaining elements of an array into a new array. Right. What is array destructuring? It is used to concatenate. No. It is used to remove. No. It is used to check. No. It is used to extract values from arrays and assign them to variables in a more concise and readable way. What value will be assigned to the array2 variable? It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What will this code log to the console? So we have red, blue, green, yellow. So splice 1. So blue, green are gonna be removed. So we're gonna have red, yellow, purple. I guess. No, we should have red, purple, yellow. Okay, this is gonna be the answer. What value will be assigned to the sliced array variable? Apple, banana, cherry, and date. Slice 1, 3. So we're gonna have banana, cherry, date. So sliced array is gonna be just apple. I guess. But sliced, yeah. So it's from index 1, which is banana, and we're gonna remove 3, right? Right, which is gonna be banana, cherry, and date. And we care about the sliced array. What value will be assigned to the sliced array variable? It should be just apple, right? Right, so why? I don't know, guys. I don't know, honestly. I mean, it's from the slice 1 till the 3, right? I mean, I don't know, honestly. I mean, let's check in the browser this code. I really don't know. FNF12. It's gonna be banana and cherry. Why? Why it's gonna be this way? I don't understand why. Let's ask Gemini. Let's ask Gemini for this because I really don't understand why. Why is gonna be banana and cherry? Explain the answer, please. So the value assigned to the sliced array variable will be banana and cherry. Explanation to understand why. This is the result. We need to look at two main concepts: zero-based indexing and how the slice method works in JavaScript. Zero-based indexing. So we have array 0, array 1, array 2, and array 3. Okay. JavaScript arrays use zero-based indexing, meaning the first item starts at index 0. Here is how your array is indexed. Right. How slice start end works. The slice method takes two arguments. Start inclusive, the index where the extraction begins. The element at this index will be included in the array. And exclusive, the index before which the extraction ends. The element at this index will not be included in the array. Okay, so we have 1, 3. So start at index 1. This points to banana, so include it. Extract index 2. This points to cherry, so we include. it stop at index 3. This points to date. Since the end index is exclusive, we stop right before it and do not include it. Okay, so we are gonna oh, I understand. So we are gonna basically remove banana and cherry, and this is why sliced array is gonna be banana and cherry. Okay, I understand now. I totally understand. Which method returns the first index of a given element in an array? So returns the first index of a given element in an array. The first index of a given element in an array is the index of. Which method is used to remove the first element from an array and returns that removed element? So the first element is the shift. What does the concat method do? Merges two arrays into a new array. This is basically what it does. What will be the output of the file? What will be the output of this code? So we have apple, banana, cherry, apple, orange, splice 0, 1. So index 0, apple is gonna be removed, right? And we're gonna have banana, cherry, apple, orange. This is the option. What does the includes method do? It is used to add or remove. No. It is used to check if an array contains a specific value. This is the correct option. Which of the following methods is used to reverse an array in place? Reverse. What is the two-dimensional array? Is an array of arrays. Okay. 16th. Which of the following is true about index of method in arrays? It throws an error if the element is not found. False. It returns -1 if the element is not found. This is true, team. This is true. Which of the following is not an array method? Trim, I guess, because includes is, pop is, push is, trim is not an array method. What will be the output of the following code? It's gonna be this one. What will be the result of using the shift method on an empty array? Undefined. Undefined, I think. Which method will return a new array without changing the original array? So we'll return a new array without changing the original array. This is it's slice. Yes, I'm finished. 100%. Nice. So guys, this is the arrays chapter on freeCodeCamp on the JavaScript certification. We did something today. We did something in how much time? 1 hour and 53 minutes. Almost 2 hours, okay. With a little bit of breaks. Then I have the objects, which is a really important chapter. Okay, so we need to do the objects chapter, then the loops, a lot of loops. Then I have the JavaScript fundamentals review, which is just theory and a lot of labs. Okay, then we have higher order functions and callbacks, a lot of things are. We're gonna continue with objects. Maybe later today. I think I'm gonna get a little break. And we are going to continue our JavaScript certification until we're gonna finish it. Okay, I hope you enjoy the stream, and we're gonna see you. I'm gonna see you next time. Bye.